All right, welcome. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to sit through a lecture. We're going to launch a full-blown investigation. So put on your detective hats because we are about to solve one of the biggest mysteries in the business world. Why do so many incredible ideas fail?
I mean, this is the central mystery, right? You've seen it, I've seen it. A product comes out, the concept is brilliant, the team behind it is super smart, and then it just flops. It's a massive multi-million-dollar puzzle. And cracking this case, well, it all comes down to one thing: finding out what people actually want.
Okay, so let's start with our very first clue. It's a number, but it's a really important one. It sets the stage for this entire investigation. For every single dollar a company spends on just understanding its users, the return is somewhere between $10 and $100. Let that sink in. That's not just a good investment. That is literally the difference between a product that thrives and one that dies.
And that massive return, it brings us right to the heart of our investigation. See, this isn't just about trying to avoid failure, it's about actively building for success. And the main tool we're going to use answers a truly billion-dollar question. What do our users actually need?
This right here is our detective work. Formally, it's called UX research. And the keyword here is systematic. This isn't about guessing or going with your gut. It's a real process of observing people, listening to them, and understanding them. It's how we check our own assumptions at the door and stop ourselves from building the wrong thing, which, trust me, saves a ton of time and money.
So, every good detective needs a framework, right? You don't just show up at a crime scene and start looking for clues everywhere. You need to know what case you're trying to solve, and it all starts with asking the right questions from the get-go. Think of this as your initial case briefing. Before you do anything, you have to ask these 5 questions. Who are we even talking to? What exactly are we trying to figure out? When do we need the answers? Where are we going to find these people? And, maybe the most important question of all, why are we even doing this? Getting these answers first focuses the entire investigation. Okay, so once you have those 5 W's sorted out, you follow a clear protocol. You start with a really defined goal, then you come up with specific questions, then you choose the right method to find the answers. After that, you've got to find your witnesses, your participants, and then you map out a plan for how you're actually going to talk to them or observe them. It's methodical, it's structured, and believe me, it is super effective. Now, a good detective knows that not every case is the same. I mean, you wouldn't investigate a bank robbery the same way you'd investigate a missing person, right? Well, the same thing is true in UX research. You have to pick the right investigation style for the specific mystery you're trying to solve. This is probably one of the biggest distinctions you have to make. Are you going to focus on what people say or what they do? Attitudinal research is all about their opinions and beliefs. But behavioral research, well, that's about what they actually do. And any good detective will tell you there is often a huge, huge gap between those two things. You got to know when to listen and when to just sit back and watch. And your next choice is all about the kind of evidence you're collecting. Qualitative research gives you the why and the how. Think of it like a really long, in-depth interview with a key witness to get their rich, detailed story. On the other hand, quantitative research gives you the how many and how much. This is like collecting all the forensic data from a crime scene. You're looking for hard numbers, statistics, and patterns. Okay, so you've framed your case, you've chosen your style. Now it's time to get out there, to hit the streets, and gather some actual clues. This is where the detective's toolkit really comes into play. So first up, we've got the classic user interview. This is your one-on-one interrogation. It's pretty affordable, it's direct, and it is fantastic for digging deep into a person's thoughts and motivations. You just sit down with someone and you get their story, straight from the source. You'll uncover insights you would never find in a spreadsheet. But sometimes you just need to see things for yourself. That's where an ethnographic study comes in. This is basically the detective going undercover, observing a subject in their natural habitat. You see how they actually use a product at home or at their desk at work. This reveals all the little unspoken frustrations and workarounds that they might not even think to tell you about in an interview. And then you've got A/B testing. This is your controlled lab experiment. It's simple. You show one version of a design to one group of people and a second version to another group. Does the green button get more clicks than the blue one? This method gives you pure, hard data. It removes all the guesswork and tells you exactly what works best. So you've gathered all this evidence. You've got interview transcripts, observation notes, a bunch of raw data. Now what? Well, a good detective doesn't just stare at a pile of clues. They start to put it all together. They build a profile of their key person of interest, the user. And this profile is what we call a user persona. Now, it's a fictional character, but, and this is the important part, it's built entirely on the real data and clues you've collected. You give this character a name, a face, a backstory. And this is so crucial because it turns all that abstract data into a relatable person, which helps the entire team stay focused on who they're actually building this for.
For instance, let's meet Sarah. Now, Sarah's not a real person, but she represents a whole group of your actual users. This simple quote summarizes her core goal. So now, instead of designing some finance app that has a million different features, the team has a laser-focused mission. How do we help Sarah save time? See how powerful that is?
So once you have your persona, you need to understand their behavior, right? That's where task analysis comes in. It's just like retracing a suspect's footsteps, step by step. You map out every single little action they take to achieve their goal. And this lets you pinpoint exactly where the process breaks down or where they get frustrated. And look how simple this can be. The main goal is buy a DVD, but that breaks down into these smaller observable steps. By mapping it all out like this, you can look at each step for flaws. Is finding the DVD hard? Is entering payment details confusing? This is how you find all the weak spots in the user's journey. Okay, we've followed the protocol, we've gathered our clues, and we've profiled our user. Now, all of these techniques come together to finally crack the case that we started with. And here it is, the final reveal. All this detective work, it's not just some academic exercise. It dramatically reduces the risk of failure. It saves huge amounts of money, and it ensures that the thing you build actually creates value for people. But honestly, the most important part, it builds empathy. It connects the creators with the very people they're trying to help. This is how you solve the mystery of why so many brilliant ideas fail. So you no longer have to just guess. You can actually start creating things that you know will succeed. So now that you have this detective's toolkit in your hands, the only real question left is, what user mystery are you going to solve first?